With the 2021 NHL season edging on closer, we continue with our series previews heading on to the third team, the Boston Bruins. Now, the Bruins, they were infamously knocked out in the second round by the Tampa Bay Lightning in just 5 games. And right now, it's not looking good. This could be the final cup window for the Bruins. A lot of the guys are aging. A lot of the players maybe aren't developed or young enough yet. They don't have the best prospects in the league. And it doesn't help that their 2 top players are injured. Let's get into what is going to happen to the Boston Bruins in the 2020-21 season, in my opinion. First off, if you're new, welcome to the channel, and if you haven't already, please go subscribe with the button below. They mean a heck of a lot to me, trying to get to 600 subs by the end of the year. I doubt I'm going to make it, but guy can dream. I'm also trying to get to 1K and 40,000 hours watched. I think that's how you do it, to get paid. I mean, that's kind of a kid's dream because I'm 13 years old. I'm just 13 years old doing YouTube with 500 subscribers as an audience. I mean, that's not really big. But, a guy can dream. So, if 1 subscriber really gets me 1 step closer to making money. And also, if you haven't already, please go check out the links in the description below. That includes Twitter, Instagram, Discord, and TikTok. So, if you haven't already taken a look at those things, please make sure to do so. If you want to talk to me as well, message me on any of those social medias, and I will reply with a DM back. Maybe we can have a hockey conversation together. So, anyways, let's get into what happened last season with the Boston Bruins. Nothing in depth, just a quick recap. So what happened last season with the Boston Bruins? Well, they had the best record in the NHL. 70 games played, 44 wins, 14 losses, and 12 overtimes for 100 points. First place team in a shortened season. I mean, nah. But, they were very good. They beat Carolina in the first round in 6 games. That was very controversial. I'll make a whole entire video on the entire series against the Carolina Hurricanes. I'll probably bring on my friend Matthew Kime, too. Let's hang at his 58. Please go subscribe to him. And, talk about the series. But, anyways, in the next round, they lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning in 5 games in a very, very close series, which almost was a sweep. Boston barely won Game 1. They won Game 1 3-2. And, Tampa had a late comeback at the end. And it looked like, and if Tampa could have won, and they could have swept Boston. Just saying, I don't know. So, it's been a very interesting past couple of years for the Bruins. They've made the second round for the past 3 years, which is the amazing thing. They lost to Tampa in the first. They lost to Tampa in 2018. They lost to St. Louis in the Stanley Cup Finals in 2019. We don't talk about that. And then they lost to Tampa this year in 2020. So, they can't really get over the hump, in all honesty. And I think this team may be able to get over the hump. It's just going to be very hard this season. And to put it on top of that, they had some big people leave. And this is the worrying thing. This thing worries me. So Zdeno Chara has left. We don't know if he's back yet. At the time of recording of this video, he may sign a contract with the Boston Bruins for maybe another 1-year deal, which honestly I could see happening because Chara may have been one of those type of people who was waiting for what the heck's going to happen this season before signing with the team, or he's going to sign with a different team. So maybe they haven't lost Chara entirely yet, but they still lost him. Now, one person they did lose entirely was Tori Krug, and that's the biggest problem. Tori Krug, probably one of the best defensemen for the Bruins. You could say he is the best defenseman for the Bruins, or was. And without him, that takes a huge punch. And you lose Chara, a very heavy-hitting, veteran, chemistry-lining captain. That hurts the defense a lot, and that's the only thing that I really see. The offense is perfectly fine. Mcavoy is going to be playing a lot of spots this season for the Bruins. And that's if Chara comes back, it'll make his life easier. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting how Boston's going to handle this defense. Now, although their defense took a big puncture, they still got some guys out of it. They got center Craig Smith through the free agency with the Nashville Predators. Good signing. Craig Smith, I think, will help out this team in the center aspects of the game. And then you got Greg McKegg as well as a potential fill-in guy. This team is still looking pretty good despite losing their defense. I think Craig Smith and Greg McKegg are 2 very good acquisitions for them. And I'm just going to say that right now. Moving on to the projected lineups here. I have them in different colors, by the way. The people that are in the pinkish colors, that means they're injured and maybe could return. And that's where they would be if they return next season. So get ready for that. Brad Marchand, he is in pink because he is injured. He may come back at some point, depending on what the season looks like. You got Jake DeBrusk then, Anders Bjork, Nick Ritchie, Anton Lindholm, you have Biff, Felipe, You have Hughes, Laka, Kapanen, and Schlarnik. I probably said that last name wrong. But you look at all those guys. You look at some pretty good wingers there. I think Felipe may even throw in for that spot there. Schleppik maybe too. But I think that line's a good line. Anton Lindholm, definitely a good fill-in guy that's going to help out that team. And I could even see him swapping with Nick Ritchie, depending on how Ritchie plays this season. Now, looking at the center core here, you have Bergeron, Krejci. There's no injuries here, by the way. Bergeron, Krejci, Charlie Coyle, Sean Corrali, and then you have Greg McKegg, Frederick, Shen, Stunica, and Carey as your bottom feeding guys as well. So, Bergeron, good two-way center. Krejci, good center. Coyle, Corrali, and then McKegg's that fill-in guy, and maybe even Frederick could be that secondary fill-in guy as well. On the right wing side of things, you have David Pastrnak, who is in the injury category. We'll get into him later. Andre Kase, Craig Smith, and Charlie Wagner. Then you have Steen, Lentoy, Kuhlman, and Senyshyn. Senyshyn I could see as a fill-in player there too. But yeah, I think that if Pastrnak's not there, I think Senyshyn will place that fourth line thing for the Bruins, and Kuhlman there as well. So, this team still looks pretty good despite their injuries up front. I mean, that is a huge problem, but, this team still does look pretty good. Moving on to the projected defensive lineups here, I have them sorted by lefty and righty, so just so you guys know. Let's get into lefty. You have Matt Grzelcyk as that first defensive pairing. If Chara comes back, he'll be that first guy. Clifton, you have Lazan there. I really like Lazan. Atkin, Vesalainen, Wolf, and Zaboral. Zaboral, I think, could be that fill-in player. So, you look at that. I think that's still a very good lefty side of play there for the Boston Bruins. Mcavoy on that righty side starting off. I said Mcavoy will have a lot of challenges this season. I think he's going to be known as the guy on the defense. Brandon Carlo, John Moore, Patrick Berglund, and Steven Kampfer. Kampfer and Berglund, two very good fill-in players as well. John Moore, very solid third pairing defender. Carlo has been shown at times where he's been very good. And then there's McAvoy, who is going to be known as the guy. So yeah, that's your defense. Again, if Chara does come back, he will fill in that lefty spot for Matt Grzelcyk. But I think still, Matt Grzelcyk is still a very solid defender for the Bruins, so I think he will stay in that top pairing spot even if Chara does come back. But I would assume that Chara would be put on that first line. Grzelcyk will be moved down to the second line, and we'll have a Chara McAvoy playing. But we don't know, in all honesty. The Bruins have low cap space. I mean, they probably will offer Zdeno Chara a very small contract, probably like $925K, maybe even a two-way. I doubt it, but you never know. So that is definitely in the possibilities as well. And that's the other challenging thing, too. So we're going to see what happens with that. I don't know if they'll sign Chara. Chara could end up going to Tampa Bay, and this clip could be just a waste. I don't know. But I think if Chara does come back, which I think it's maybe likely, I think that he can do some assets on this Boston Bruins defense that lost probably one of the best D-men in the league. Now, moving on to the goaltending aspect here, you have Tuukka Rask, who I think is really going to be put a lot of pressure on, especially with this pummeled defense that is the Bruins. You still have some good players on this team, but it's looking pretty tough. So, Tuukka Rask is that starting goaltender. I know there's a lot of controversy around him. He's not leaving. He's not leaving. I know people were like, oh, that's his last game in a Bruins jersey when he just opted out. He's not leaving. Yaroslav Halak's that backup goaltender. He proved to us that he can even be a starter too. He led the Bruins to the second round. I mean, they got their butts kicked by Tampa, but they still got to the second round. Daniel Vladar is that third goaltender. Swayman could be even that third goaltender as well. And then you got Kaiser and David Booth as your other goalies. So, you got 6 goalies in Boston there. So, yeah, I think the goaltending's pretty good. I think the defense may have something to be desired on. It's going to be interesting how McAvoy and Grzelcyk are going to handle that first pairing defensive spot. I still think they're going to play their hearts out and play pretty well. And then that offense, I think that's still going to be perfectly fine. You're just going to lose Marchand and Pastrnak for a little bit. And maybe they'll come back. We don't know. Maybe they'll recover even faster. There's still a chance of that. And, Boston's kind of in the same situation as Dallas right now, because Dallas has Tyler Seguin and Ben Bishop out. And, different situation, but, you know what I mean. So, there's still the possibility of them coming back. Finally, on to the moment we've all been waiting for, the playoff prediction. it's pretty obvious what I think the Boston Bruins are going to do. They're going to make the playoffs. I think even with this competitive division that they're going to be in, you have Philadelphia, you have Washington, Pittsburgh, the Rangers, the Devils, the Sabres. You have some very tough players in that division, and it's going to be hard to take them on with the offense that may struggle scoring a little bit. I know Bruins fans might get mad at me for that, just a little bit. And the defense with a little bit of struggling there, a little bit, and the goaltending as well, which is still pretty good. But it's gonna be interesting how they do it. I still think they'll make the playoffs. I still think this team will pull themselves together, motivate themselves with losing in 2019, losing in 2018, losing in 2020. This team could really push together and push for a strong run. Maybe they're gonna be like Chicago, because the Bruins' time is running out. That's something that Bruins fans don't want to hear, but that's the inevitable. The Bruins fans, their time is running out as a good team right now. Your players are going to start going down. Some of these guys are going to get good, but the cup window is getting pretty dang near to being closed. So, it's going to be pretty interesting. I think they're going to play their hearts out like Chicago did in 2020 because they knew their time was up. They knew that this was it. They won 3 Stanley Cups and they may not win another one. That's an unfortunate thing. But we will get to Chicago when we get to them. So anyways, thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy, please go make sure to leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 600 subs by the end of the year, trying to get to make money off of this. That means a heck of a lot. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the Buffalo Sabres preview.